A 40-car pile-up on a Chinese motorway caused in part by bad visibility in the smog points to growing political strain. It's one of the consequences of the country's alarming pollution. On top of this, at least 20 flights into or out of Beijing airport were cancelled this Thursday morning alone or delayed as China's bad air continued to break new records. The capital has seen no lasting relief in January. The communist government is finding it harder to ignore people's mounting protests. The media are beginning to talk about it more openly after warnings to avoid going outside and telling Beijingers to wear masks if they do. This week, a small particles air index maintained by the US Embassy reached 517. The World Health Organization recommends a daily level of no more than 20. There's public outrage. This elderly resident says it's impossible to stay at home all the time. The air is so bad with the smog outside. If you open the window for long, the inside air gets even worse. We don't know how to solve this. People can't do anything. The authorities on Tuesday temporarily took 1/3 of government vehicles off the roads, but some 20 million people live in the capital. It has 5 million vehicles in circulation, a number which has been increasing each year by 250,000. Industry is the next main polluter. Largely in power stations, China burns as much coal in a year as the rest of the planet put together. Beijing also shut down more than 100 heavily polluting factories this week, but only for 2 days. Hospital admissions for breathing trouble have risen 20%. Doctors said half of those admitted to a children's hospital in the city were suffering from respiratory infections. This mother says, "I'm worried. My child has a skin allergy." She used to have symptoms only very rarely, but the doctor said that with the recent air quality getting worse, there are more and more patients suffering from this condition. A World Bank study in 2007 put the number of premature deaths because of pollution at 750,000 per year. Other sources say it's now more than 2 million, and that the incidence of lung cancer has soared by 60% in the last decade. According to state television, Premier Wen Jiabao has told other top leaders we should speed up enhancing our industry, push for energy conservation, and build an ecological civilization.
Welcome to China Uncensored. I'm your host, Chris Chappell. Pollution is out of control in China. The land, rivers, and seas have become a toxic mess. The air is so bad in Beijing, it snows mud. Industrial chemical runoff in the water and land has caused cancer rates to explode by 80% in the past 3 decades. Some places are even being called cancer villages because of how high cancer mortality rates have gotten. I mean, pig farms just dumped 13,000 diseased, dead pigs in Shanghai's drinking water. Is it any wonder the water looks like this? Or this? So who should be blamed for China's pollution? Who should be targeted and destroyed for their sins? Oh. Yes, that's right. One Chinese environmental official is blaming foreigners for China's bad pollution. So when giant toxic clouds from Beijing drift over to California, we only have ourselves to blame. You see, China's pollution is so bad, according to this official, because China manufactures so much green technology for the rest of the world. And it's the pollution created from making all that green technology that's hurting China. Of course, it's so clear now. China's pollution is because of foreigners and green technology. Don't you feel ashamed? But that's not the only brilliant environmental advice coming from high-ranking Chinese officials. TAU CHjourdT, party secretary for Yunnan province, suggested at the 2 sessions, that's, the biggest policy-making meeting in China, that China should dam up all their rivers so water isn't wasted flowing into other countries. These are the same people in charge of 1.3 billion people. 1.3 billion poor, poor people. Thanks for watching this episode of China Uncensored. Be sure to follow me on Twitter or like China Uncensored on Facebook. And as always, subscribe and comment below. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. See you next time.